Hi, everybody. Thank you for subscribing to my YouTube channel. For those of you who haven't yet, I hope if you like it, like what you see and hear, that you'll do so, and welcome. This is Politics with Sherry Jacobus. It's the same name as my podcast I have over on Patreon, where I interview newsmakers, lawmakers, influencers, reporters each week. And so you can find me there as well. Look, in this space, we're pretty direct and honest. I always have been. So when I call for Chuck Schumer to be nixed, get rid of him, it's not because I want to launch an internal civil war in the Democratic Party or we're not being loyal. We have to be loyal to the country. And if it's good for the Democratic Party, it's good for the country and vice versa. And Chuck Schumer has shown that he's not up to the job. I get that same weird vibe that I had after we got for a while after a time with Merrick Garland. Remember? Something wasn't right, and we knew it. And we were told, no, you're the problem. Well, I think Chuck Schumer is a problem, whether it's incompetency, complacency, complicity, whether he's dirty, which he might be. He's been involved in that whole New York political and kind of corruption scene that Donald Trump has been in for decades. They know each other well. So we have to do this. And I think that taking an honest look at what Democrats have or haven't done, or just what needs to be done, is healthy, and it's the only way forward. And it might be too late, but we cannot just give happy talk. I think we can be hopeful where there's hope, but we have to be grown-ups about this. And we're in a very, very dangerous and bad place right now. I want to read something that Paul Krugman wrote. All right. He says, if America still had a fully functioning democracy, Donald Trump's speech Tuesday to the assembled generals would have ended his presidency. Trump treated the event like a political rally and was clearly taken aback by the refusal of the audience to applaud or laugh at his jokes. Delivering a nakedly partisan speech to a mandated assembly of military officers was a gross violation of the Hatch Act. The content, telling the officers to be ready to use force against U.S. citizens, was clearly an impeachable offense. In an earlier era, Trump's incoherent ranting would have paved the way for his immediate removal from office under the 25th Amendment. So, going back to the beginning of that statement, if America still had a fully functioning democracy, it is crucial that we understand that we do not have a fully functioning democracy at this time. And we have to be honest with ourselves at the different junctures, the different points in time over the past decade where we didn't take something regarding Trump seriously enough to stop him. Okay? This isn't about infighting. It is about doing an honest analysis. After a campaign, they do something called an autopsy. If your team did badly and you're thinking, what went wrong? We were supposed to win this thing. You've seen both sides do that. You've seen Republicans do it. You've seen Democrats do it. They do an autopsy. I think that, well, we're not dead as a country yet, but we're on life support, folks. And it's going to get much, much worse. Much, much worse. And I think one of the things we have to do if we intend to save ourselves is to be really honest about where we have messed up, where we didn't take something seriously, because that's where it starts. Okay. At what point, you look at the different points where you had people warning what was happening. And we're like, oh, that's just tinfoil hat conspiracy. That can't happen here. Well, what if 10 years ago, 6 years ago, 8 years ago, 2 years ago, 1 year ago, we could have looked ahead into a crystal ball and seen that room full of 800 of the top military brass for the United States military, all ordered at a $7 million expense, all ordered to fly in from their various posts around the world, all in one place, which in and of itself is extraordinarily dangerous to our national security. And we are lucky our enemies didn't do something to that building at the time. It was Quantico, by the way, just outside of D.C., Quantico, Virginia. If we could have seen, first of all, that Pete Hegseth would be Secretary of War, that they changed the name of the Department of Defense to the Department of War, and that we had Trump telling them that they are to use force against US citizens, but especially in democratic cities. And if we could have just, even for a few seconds, seen the looks on the faces of all of them, would we have done more? Would we have done more if we knew Trump was capable of this? Okay. Ask yourself, and I've tweeted about this, I put it there. Ask yourself where you think that line is that Trump would not cross. Because so far, we've seen that line in the sand. Oh, he won't do this. He'll never do that. Oh, this is that. That's tinfoil hat conspiracy. Our own side is telling us that. And he's gone further and further and further each time. Do we keep moving the goalpost? Are we afraid to confront this? Or are we afraid to accept that maybe it's too late, that there's nothing we can do to confront it? You should be livid that your Democratic senators are silent about Chuck Schumer. And House Democrats silent about Hakeem Jeffries. Maybe Hakeem Jeffries wants you to do more, like at least daily briefings where we can fact check Trump. Maybe Schumer's the one standing in the way. I don't know. I'm tired of wondering what it is, because this is causing extreme harm to our country. All right. We don't owe ineffective leaders our loyalty. Personal loyalty is something that Trump demands. We should not be demanding that to a Senate leader who's not doing the job, who in fact appears to be purposely not doing the job. Okay? We should not have personal loyalty to a TV anchor or show host or pundits with clever tweets. This isn't a game. This isn't football team. Oh, yay, team, I can't believe the things that we have normalized, even on our side. You would think at a minimum, we could have a Senate Democratic leader who is loyal to the country and truth and understands the danger and uses every bit of his power, his or her power, to fight Trump instead of pretending he isn't what he is, that he's not doing what he's doing. We have a government shutdown right now that is Trump's. Trump wanted this. He wanted this. Republicans have the House, the Senate, the White House. We have a Speaker of the House who refuses to swear in the newly elected Democrat from Arizona, because that means that there's a vote now to release the Epstein files. The reason your MAGA friends don't know this is because nobody's telling them this, because Fox News lies. They just do. I truly think there's some MAGA who like what Trump is doing, as long as he's not doing it to them. There are some who truly just don't understand. The fact that there is not a daily briefing, a formal daily briefing, where a Democratic spokesperson, a super staffer, the way that Elon Musk was for Trump, somebody who has the gravitas to stand up there and fact check and make sure that all the media there, and they would cover it. They would cover it. I promise you that they let them know that this is a Republican government shutdown, because I guarantee you a lot of your Republican friends aren't hearing that. They only watch Fox, Actually, some of them get other streaming. It does seep in here and there. But we just play dead. Like, oh, we can't change their mind, so we won't even try. Well, Fox News will never. Fox News got sued for almost $800 million for lying, for defamation or libel. I don't know if their viewers understand that, because I don't think they ever had to report it. But the fact that we're not even trying, not even doing daily briefings on par with the White House press briefings, criminal negligence. Okay? I'm not giving up. That's not what this is. I will never give up. But I'm going to be really honest about the fact that we are losing, and it doesn't have to be this way. We are losing to Trump because too many people are like, well, we don't want to anger or hurt Chuck Schumer's feelings. Nancy Pelosi really tried. No, Nancy Pelosi didn't impeach Trump the first time when it mattered, and we wouldn't have needed the other times. And the other times that he was impeached much later have nothing to do with the first time, because the first time, if they'd done it, we might not have needed the second two. We know that Republicans in Congress laugh about Trump behind his back. They know what he is, but they can't do anything about it. Yeah, I wish they would. Yes, they are spineless. Yes, that makes them kind of traitors. But if Democrats aren't doing all they can either, where does that leave us? I've talked before about how the people who are using the power they do have to try and save us are the ones that have the best shot at the Democratic nomination, if we even reach that point in this country. And that would be Govs Newsom, it's Pritzker, anybody using all of the tools at their disposal. In fact, the litmus test will be not what will you do about Trump? What are your plans for Trump? What strongly worded statement did you put out? It will be, what have you already done? How have you already used your influence and your power to fight Trump as he destroys our country and our democracy, and people are dying as a result? What did you do? What have you done? Not what are your ideas in the future? What have you done? So that's my litmus test for anybody. But right now, I think we should be looking at our Democratic elected officials and demanding the same. Why were you silent when Chuck Schumer was letting our democracy go down the drain? You can't say, well, I went out there and I did my press briefing. We have individual senators who are doing amazing jobs on their own in their little corner of the world. But they also could be publicly calling for the daily fact-checking briefings. At a minimum. At a minimum. And so far, they're not. Are they afraid of Chuck Schumer? That'd be something, wouldn't it? Are they going to lose their committee assignments or something? They're afraid they'll be punished by Chuck Schumer? That'd be really sad. What's the worst thing? That they should ask themselves, what is the worst thing that can happen if you do the best thing for our country? Because that's what it comes down to, isn't it? For our Democratic senators who are remaining silent about Chuck Schumer's not only lack of leadership, but it almost seems to be on purpose. What are they afraid of? Why are they more afraid of him than they are of Trump? Okay? Because we don't have a lot of time. We're running out of options here. Ask yourself how far you think Trump will go. Okay? He's an evil madman. He's an authoritarian. He's a dictator. He's a narcissist. He's a sociopath. He's insane. He's evil. He's already shown us how far he will go. Think of the worst case scenario and then ask yourselves, is that worth just not wanting to anger, not wanting to piss off Chuck Schumer? Legitimate question. Very legitimate question. We also see J.D. Vance out there, out front, being put out front in ways that Mike Pence never was. So they're getting ready to hand the baton in some way, shape, or form. And we just sit here acting like it's not happening. So the 800 top military brass that gathered, that were forced to gather, that were stone-faced, some of them disgusted with Trump and Hegseth on Tuesday when they all met at Quantico. I'm hoping they can save us, but that would be a military coup, so no. What they can do is be vocal. And they'll get fired, but kind of hard to replace. What they can do is simply refuse to obey unconstitutional, illegal, un-American orders. And the rest of us have to do the rest. So let's start by getting some Democratic leaders that know how to fight, who are willing to fight, and who are fearless and who put country first before their political positions. I think that would be a good start. Let me know your thoughts in the comments.